van. But try and put some replicas of the original ones on. I bought this van, it had the original ones on, but they were so bad I have to do something about them. I've put some soundproofing in, just to soundproof the door up. Tidied up a little bit of rust and stuff in there. I mean, the door's not fully restored by any stretch of the imagination, but this is the start point. I've stripped everything off. I've been driving around with it like this for a few days, but now all the stuff's coming for me to do it. So the first thing I've had to do when I've took the old door card off is these little holes all around have little rubber inserts in which the card is held on with. So I've broken all those old ones off, cleaned them all up, and they're going to be, you know, used against. I've got some new rubber parts to put in those. First of all, I'm going to put some double-sided tape all around here. I'm going to put a plastic membrane in, so to stop any moisture that's in the door getting onto the back of the new door card and ruining it. So I'll come back when I've done that, and you can see how I've done it. It's dead simple. So from the next stage, you can see the white now. That's the double-sided tape. I'm not going to explain to you how to put some double-sided tape on, but you want it to go all the way around the perimeter like that. I could probably put a little bit more in there. There's just a little spot. I'll do that in a sec. But you can see you've got tape all around there. If you get to these bends, just do little sections, and then where they overlap, you can just run the Stanley knife blade down so that they actually just butt up nicely. Not that it'll matter too much, as long as you've just got something for the membrane to stick to. So next I'm going to take this off and this off, and then we're going to get the So first off's the door handle. I've taken that off, that comes off, nice and simple. 3 bolt holes into the 3 plastic things. You have to come up from underneath at like a 45-degree angle to get into those. And there's 3 nice beefy screws, so you need a decent, I'll use this one, decent sized deposit driver. But we've got next up we've got the door handle. If you have a look in the door handle, just here, just in this spot here, you'll see a little hole you can get your screwdriver in. Or plastic deposit, you can just pop it. See that come out? So now, it just pulls out. You've got a little plastic piece that pulls out, and mine's a bit battered. You can buy these cheap enough if you want to replace them. I probably will at some day next time I'm doing an order from a VW supplier. I'll just stick a couple of these on. It's a bit expensive to pay postage just for a couple of them, but you can fit these after the door card's been put on, so there's no rush. And all you've got to do to get the plastic cowling off is remove that screw that's in there, and then you can just about see it in there, and then this whole plastic piece comes off. So I've just removed the screw. I had to do it off camera because I ain't got enough hands to hold the camera. I'm holding the camera by hand whilst I'm trying to do this, which means that's loose. It doesn't like to come off very easy, but if you pull the handle up, it just slides off the handle. We don't need to strip it any more than that for our membrane. We'll just cut around this. You could unbolt that, pull it off and put that on top of the membrane and bolt it back on, but the position of that can alter, so then you're going to have to start adjusting that, which is going to have an impact on your door. If this moves forward slightly, your doors might not click shut, and if you move back too far it might not open them enough, and you know, it's easy enough to deal with, but I couldn't do that faff. Final piece to remove is the door handle. At first glance it doesn't look like it's got any sort of fixings on it. It looks quite complicated, but you just pull that off. You just literally pull that off nice and steady, and there's a big screw there, you just unscrew it. There's a piece of sponge behind it, and it's so that when you're when you've got the door card on, the idea is that just keeps the door card pushed out away from all this turning part, but you can see that that isn't spongy anymore, so I'm going to replace that with a piece of sponge. Before we move on, I'm going to cut a piece of sponge and put it on myself. That's 40-year-old foam. I think it served its purpose. So I'll just put a little bit of double-sided tape there, and I'm just peeling off and trying to just peel off another piece of double-sided tape. It's hard to do one-handed. And then I've cut myself a piece of sponge, outline around the house. I just put him on there. I don't think it matters too much about that. I don't think you worry too much about it. As long as it's, you know, you don't want it super thin coming out here, you don't want it too thin and it's not doing anything. So the idea is that when I put the handle on, I'm going to put the card in, it's going to have to compress it, and that will just keep everything where it is. If you had it right out here and then you're trying to squeeze it all in, you'll have problems fitting it. Alright guys. So the next stage, we've got our door handle off, we've got all of our covers off our catch or door opener, and we've put a bit of sponge on. I think originally there was some sponge around this as well, but I'm not bothering with that. Now what I've done is I've taken the backing off all the way around. And I've got some cellophane sheet in there, polythene, I can't remember if it's polythene or cellophane, but I just bought some, you know, generic stuff off the internet. It's not special for this particular job. And what I'm going to do, I've cut it several inches too big in all dimensions, so what I'm going to do is hold it up against there and start it along the top, and then I shall pull it tight and start it along the bottom, and then just push it on. Try and avoid creases. Creases aren't the end of the world if it doesn't go on perfect, but just, you know, try and do as good a job as we can. So I can't do that and hold the camera, so you're going to have to, I'm on my own, so I'm afraid I will have to come back when I've, there we are guys, a few seconds later. It didn't take me very long to do. So what I did was I stuck it along the top, and then I sort of draped it down and sort of kept it taut and pushed it in, and then it's just sort of stuck around. Now I have got some little creases here, but I haven't really got many creases anywhere else. They're not nothing to worry about. They're not going to affect the effectiveness of it, as in it's still going to do its job. No one's going to see it, it's going to be covered, so it's not going to hurt anything. But the little tip is, if you do get little creases like this, stay away from the holes. These holes that you're going to use to clip on these, what I'd say are probably about 8mm holes that are all around the edge, which is what you're going to use to clip the card on. If you've got those around, they're going to interfere. So make sure they're, if you're getting a crease near them, just move the crease around to make sure it's away a fair distance from those, and it shouldn't cause any problems. Now I'm going to do is just go around with a little knife and just gently cut all the way around so that this is a perfect fit. So rather than trying to make something that's a perfect fit, faffing about, just do it like this, nice and big. Polythene sheet don't cost anything. You buy a sheet of it, it's big enough to do the 2 doors, you can have a problem, and then you can finish off and it'll look perfect after you've done. Right, we're back. Door has been trimmed, as you can just see. I just went into there with a blade all the way around, so that a little bit here that's just not trimmed up nice, so you just trim it off like that. Away he comes. So now this is where having a slightly see-through or see-through is handy, because you're going to want to make holes for things to come through. So just cut across on that, slightly bigger than the diameter of the shaft, and just push, make sure. And I'll cut these pieces away because I don't want them to interfere with that. Those splines, I don't want to get caught in the splines. I'm going to do this off camera because I'm making a bit of a mess of it. Yeah, don't want it so that when it's in there it's not caught, and when this part spins it's not going to catch. If it catches them and it spins, it could rip it. Just want it out of the way. So I'll tidy it off camera in a second, but you get the idea. And the door handle, what I tend to do is just, again, if you're just careful and go from that corner to that corner, try not to go right through and scratch the door handle underneath, just put a score in, and then go about 3/4 of the way down that. You don't need to go right to the end. Should be able to do. Quite difficult to do with one hand because I'm holding the phone with the other. You'll be able to make a tidier job than this. Once you've started it, you've got it. You should be able to push that, and then by pulling that up, get the door handle up. Perfect. And again, now I'll just go around there, trim it all up off camera, and we'll be ready. If you wanted to, you could put a bit of tape underneath there, tape it back up. Right, I'm just bringing you back to this again, because what I've remembered is you've got to make sure you've got access to that hole. So I'm going to cut that flap off, because I don't want that, because later on I'm going to have to get through and screw into there. Just don't get caught out by that. So we're nearly at the stage where we can put the door card on now, once we prepare the door card. But first of all, we've got to go around the van. And there's these little 8mm, right where we've put the, I'm saying they're 8mm, I've not measured them, but by eye they're about 8, could be 10mm. We've got to clean these holes out completely. Okay, again, I'm making a meal of it because it's on one-handed, but when I've not got the camera in my hand, it's a lot easier. And they're all the way around here, and here, and here. About 21 of them, I think. They've got to be cleared out, so I'm gonna clear them all out now and bring you back when they are. Right, guys, well, I'll come back. As you can see, we've got all these holes marked out now, cleared out. And that is because we're going to have to put a rubber grommet in there. Well, not, I don't know if it's called a grommet, but that's what I'm calling it. So this is the first part that we actually purchased, as a VW part for this project, and that is what they are. They're called door card bungs. Get a bag of 46. You need about 21 per door, so 42 would be enough. So we should have some spares. Okay, they're from Just Campers, and that's the part code that you get. They look like this. And you put each one into the hole, just pointy end straight in. Make sure that you push it all the way in. I can't do it without both ends. See how that's sitting? Go a bit closer. See how that's not quite flush? The top's got a bit of a gap to it. Gotta make sure you have to wiggle them sometimes and jiggle them around and push them right in. Now, my experience doing the previous side is that they've got to be right in like that. No gap around the back here. Right in. Otherwise you have a right nightmare when you come to putting the door card on. So I'm going to go around and do the other 20 and I'll be back. There we are, all 21 bungs. So I just realised that that's what they're called. All 21 bungs in. Like I say, I can't emphasise enough, make sure they're right in so that they're right flush up to the back of the thing. They might look like they're, but really make sure they're in, because it will make your job easier. And don't think, oh, I'll just use the ones that are on there, unless you know for a fact that they're only put in sort of 2 to 5 years ago. These things will be useless after they've been in a while, and my one's all collapsed and died. So for the sake of a few quid, when you're spending, you know, 100 quid on your door cards, you might as well spend a couple of quid and get the fittings right and do a pucker job. That's just a little tip from me, but there's no way I could have used my old ones. Mine were perished. Right guys, door cards. The one on the left, this one, is the new one from Just Campers. The one on the right is the original one. That's a VW one. It's got a VW stamped on the back of it. So colours wise, not much difference there from original to this one. Who used to say, I mean, this is 40 years old, this original one. Who used to say it's not faded a little bit from its original colour. So colour wise, I don't think you could have asked Just Campers to get it any more close, you know, any more of a colour match than that. The design wise, I'm just separate them a bit now so you can see the design. It's the same design. Just obviously they're opposite door cards, these, but same design. It's got that little zigzag there. It's got all the same lines in. What I will say is this one seems more padded. The new one seems more padded, but that could again be 40 years of wear. This is dying. This was the better out of the two that were in mine originally. The big hole at the bottom is a previous owner's hole where they've put a big speaker in. I've taken those out. This hole here is for a vent, which my model has a vent which is in here. I'm missing one part for the vent. I could have, which again is available from Just Campers if I wanted it, or and, you know, maybe some other car suppliers, some other VW suppliers as well. But I've decided to keep it like this because I like the cleaner look, and I can always, I've kept the parts for that. So you know, for something like 20 quid, I can go back to that if I really feel the need. When we flip them over, a whole host of holes on the back, and on the hole. The Just Campers one is pretty much a replica of the VW one. You see it's an original VW there. It says got the VW sign on it. There is one omission, shall we say, from the VW, sorry, from the Just Campers one. And now if you look here, we have a hole, and then a hole, and then a hole. All on the same line. If you look at this one, we have that hole. The two bigger holes don't exist. Now they just happen to be for the door handle. So I'll show you later how I've got around that. It turns out to not be that much of a big deal. I don't know why the Just Campers ones don't have them on, but if that's all that's wrong, I'm over the moon. You know, all the other holes so far, all these holes here, these are the ones. Hello, Sprocket. Sprocket, get off. You silly boy. So these holes here, these are the ones that matter because these are the ones that the clip's gone on. All the rest of the holes, other than this one and this one, this is for your winder. That's for your handle. That's for your window winder. That's for your handle, and that's for your, sorry, that's for your catch to open your door, and that's for your handle. And then the only other ones that matter to us are these. We'll go into those in a minute. Spockadoo, stay out of the way. I don't know what all the other holes are for. Maybe they're different models, different things. But on the whole, I'd say it's a pretty good replica. Just thought I'd show that while we've got the opportunity, if anyone who's wondering about whether it's that close to the original. Hello everybody. So this is now the second item I'm showing you that you need to purchase. I've got mine from Just Campers, and they are the interior door trim clips. If you get them from Just Campers like I did, you get 25 in a bag. You need 21 to do a door, so obviously 2 doors you're going to need to do 2. So you can get 2 bags of those for 1 bag of the bungs, and they look like that. So this thin part here grips onto the hardboard, and this part sticks out and becomes the pin that goes into your bung. I'll try and show you it here. I'll hold them in these long nose pliers so you can see what's going on without my big fingers in the way. So you get your clip like so, and you have to try and put it into the hole there. Sometimes I need a little bit of help just to get going. Quite a tight fit, and then you have to, using the long nose pliers, just quite a tight fit. You see, they can be quite a fiddle, these. And they pull on like so, so they're out there, and then you pull them in, so everything's moving. They're out like that, and then you pull them in like that. As you can see, that could be, if you pull it all the way up to the bend, it could be here, it could be there, and it moves around, and that's something that can be a bit of a pain when you're doing this job. It's a good idea to have a look at the old one if you've got one. If you've got the old original, you might see the marks where the original clips used to be. You might even be able to reuse some of these clips if you've got original ones, but I've not tried. Some of them snapped when I was taking them out because they're very old. Mine were 40 years old. So I'll go around and put them all in and guess kind of where they're going to be, and then we have to tweak them when we get on the door. When we get onto the when we're actually putting the card into the door, we'll have to tweak them a little bit, but we'll discuss that a bit more when we're at that stage. But let me just see if I can show you one more going on, just in case that wasn't clear enough. let me move you forward a little bit. We'll do it for this one. So you have to take the sort of little thin groove and go and try and get it under the board. Whilst you're pushing the back in, it's a very, very tight fit. The hole's just the right size. That's why the holes are so big. And drag it like that. Okay. When you're on the corner, you're never quite sure whether to pull it at this angle or that angle or the other angle. The corner ones can be a problem again, but you know, just in case of trial and error. I'll come back to you when I've done them all. Another 19 to go. So guys, we've got all our clips in. We need to make some holes in the right places for the items that are going to come through the door panel. So the first one is the door handle or the door latch. Try not to get it confused with the other door handle. So I'm just putting a cross in there and just going through. Make sure you're nice and sharp so that you can get rid of some of these. What I've done is got rid of the backing. Got rid of this plastic backing, the black plastic bit. Got rid of some of this sponge because it just, this cottony stuff, because it just gets in the way. And then if you've gone right through, when you put the door handle through, it'll push it out like that, out of the way, and it'll be fine. And if we need to tweak that from the other side, we can there. We ain't got nothing in the way. Same with this, which is the door winder. So I don't know if you can see that there. Remove it. So this is the window winder, sorry, not the door winder. This is what puts your window up and down. Again, I'm just going to put an X in. And then just try to remove the backing. You can be reasonably rough with these first two items that I showed you because they're well covered by, you know, the door handle sort of winders sort of that wide, and then this is completely covered as well by the cowling that goes around the door. Door handle. And then with this one, your door handle starts there and goes back to there. So what I'm going to do with him is leave him, because I think the hole is a little bit to the back, but we're going to do him in position on the door, and I'll show you how we do that later. So the door handle is a bit more of a pain because we haven't got these holes here, but I managed to successfully achieve it on the previous one. I'll be showing you that anyway. So this is the door handle one here. There's two. Not sure what this one's for, but this one, use one of those holes. Use a hole that's about there for the front of the door handle, and then there should be another hole here and here for the middle and the back of the door handle. The handle that you grab to close and open the door, which I've already discussed that we haven't got the right bits for. We'll leave them for now. But we've made our life easy with this. So from this side you can see that it's just a little X, but when we've put our covers over, they'll just be completely gone. Okay, so let's pop outside and we'll start actually attaching this to the door. Right guys, I'm not sure what you can see from that position, but I'm going to go with it anyway because I can't do this without my hands being free. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get these top pins to line up with these ones. and fit those first, because then the door will hang nicely, the card will hang nicely off those, and then I can tweak the others with my pliers as we go. So that's what you're going to see me doing. Just be careful that these don't make a hole in that, so they can really easily do. So first of all, I'm just lining it up, and I'm looking to get them top ones to line up. So this one here is a little bit off, so I could probably move him with my finger. He wants to go a little bit to the left, but that's it. So I bang them. I'm only putting the top ones in. And what I'm looking for is, does that card sit nicely along that line there? Does it look like it's going to drift out of line down this edge of the door, down this edge of the door? And it looks okay. So that tells me that they're roughly in the right place, those top ones. Now I've just got to work my way around the door. What I'll make sure now is that each single one is lined up before I pop any more in. Or just push it over and just see if it wants to start in the hole. Maybe I can show you that. So here we can see that this one, what we see, he wants to go into there, so he's a mile off, so I could have to twist him around. You can see that one there, he's a little bit off, so I'll have to move him down. I'll have to move, and I'll just work my way around, moving them down and around so they're in the right positions to go in. So let me do a few of them and I'll come back when it's a bit better. So I've got most of those pins in the right position now. Just trying to show you so that you can see it goes in. Try and get it to focus a bit better. It goes into the hole. Next one down. Has he gone? He goes in the hole. I've lost him again. There he is. Really quite difficult for me to do this. And I've done that all the way around. So you can see right down there, each one lines up and goes in. It doesn't quite like it. You move with your finger and it just goes in then. That's how you do it all the way around. And once doing all the way around, you just got to be, just put you there a little bit. Now they're all lined up all the way around, you just got to push them in until they go with a click. You can kind of feel them clicking. Sometimes they go louder than others. If you're showing too much resistance, just double check it's not moved. If things don't want to clip, in the back of the palm of your hand. Sometimes I just need it. A little bit of extra persuasion. There we are, guys. We should have a thing coming through there. We've got a hole there for our door handle. So everything's in the right place. Happy, happy days. Let's start putting things back on in reverse. So we're going to start with the door handle. So the window winder that went on here. I can see where he is, and I want to take away the material that's going to, any material that might be interfering with that spline that the handle goes on. I want to take it away. Like I said, by that handle spinning around, if it catches hold of any of this stuffing, it'll wrap it around and around and around, and it could end up seizing the handle up or pulling all the stuffing out the door over time. Just want to make sure it's all nice and clear. Take your time, don't want to damage any part of the door that is going to be visible, the door card. That's what we're looking for. Looking for that to be poking out, and remember we've got that sponge there, so there's a bit of room, even though it only looks like it's just poking out. We can then get our door card, sorry, our door handle, and you should have, oops, dropped in, there you go. You should just have a tape, countersunk screw that goes into there. What I tend to find is keep the countersunk screw off first and try and get them onto the splines. If you're worried, if you want that in a certain position when your window's in its up position. So what I would tend to do is have it facing towards the middle so that the weight of the handle is down, just in case the weight of the handle might, if you have it this way, the weight of the handle might drop over time and open the window, you know, let a bit of moisture in, whereas if you have it that way, the weight of the handle is going to keep the door, the window down, should I say, but up even. Oops, I've missed a piece. Just a very important piece there. There's a plastic backing that goes on there. The point of that is that protects the door card from getting chewed up by the handle. Make sure you put him on. Clip him back in place. Oh, and you can see that's proved that I didn't have the handle on properly, did I? I haven't tightened him up enough. Nowhere near, look. So he must have not been on the splines properly. So that's why we test things. Perfect example. Yeah, that's better now. You can feel the difference. So we have that window that's winding up. Come back down again. Like it's always been there. I'll have it down actually because it's going to help me now, because I can grab through the door and work on other things. Next we're going to have this into there, but I'm just going to tidy up around here. So we don't want any of that. I am a little less worried about the foamy stuff now. What you will find is that if you put that in there now, just as a visual, it goes in, you're going to get these foamy bits sticking out, that gap, it's just going to be rubbish. So it's going to come, I can come back quite a way. It's not going to be visible, and I can just try and cut it. If you keep trying to pull it, it just keeps coming and coming. You can even try and stuff it back in a little if you want. Need a ridiculously sharp blade. Let's get to a fresh bit. I'm also going to get rid of some of these pieces because I don't feel like they're helping. That's your fingers. They're just getting in the way though, so that's better that way. And all you've got to do is lift the handle up, pop him on, and you should see that that mechanism there is getting caught on something. We're not getting that back into its proper position yet. There we are, once that's screwed in we won't have that problem. And this one you should have a countersink with like a spacer on. Be a little bit tricky to. It's not a spacer, it's like a washer to spread the load. I'm having to lean in a bit because the screw's quite short. Just trying to get it to start. Still not started. Right, what am I missing here? Come back to this piece where I've chopped some of that, more of that out. And that you can still see in there the threaded hole. This has got to go into there and get into that threaded hole. What it does is that goes onto there like so, and screws in. Just pull the handle out, slide that over, line it up. Yeah, I'm going to have to be quite forceful for this because the door card's flexing out. Door card's flexing out. Everything's trying to work against you, so you're going to have to push it and try and force it to start. In a bugger. Bear with me a second here while I start this. There he goes. Couldn't get enough force on it from where I was there. Once these pieces start to come through there. The door handle's just catching a little bit, so I'm just going to slacken it off. See if I can bias it. These never got a plan, do they? It just doesn't want to. It's like the door, it's like the bottom, it's catching there. I'll have to come back and just rub that with. Looks like it's burred up a little bit, so I might just have to rub that with a little bit of sandpaper just there. There's a little burr. I'll come back to that. It's a separate video. And to finish that off, we've got this piece again. That just slides in there. Clicks in. Mustn't grumble at that. The corner looks like it's. There we are. Just pop down a little bit, push it back in again there. Everything's looking good. I'm happy with that. I've got the last final part to this puzzle is putting the door handle on. As I said, not all the holes are here for this, so I'll show you how I got around this problem. So the door handle sits around about there. In this area here, there's a hole there is actually a hole in the back of the door card, square hole if you remember right. You can just see it dipping in there, and if I feel around, I can feel just there is where the little plastic thread pieces. So I'm gonna make a little insertion there. Take your time when you're doing this, make sure you're happy that you've got the right spot. I mean, I did the other door once already, so I have a reasonable level of confidence in what I'm doing, but it took me a lot longer to do the other door because, you know, I'm trying to get my confidence up. On the flip side, remember that this is covering a huge area, so you have got quite an area for error. If you're slightly high, it's not going to matter, because you know, but try and be as accurate as you can. What you're trying to do is see if you can find plastic, and the plastic is white, and I can see it there. Now I just want to see if I'm anywhere near. And I think I can see. So take the screw that's going to go in there, and I go up at quite an angle like that. And you can see it wants to start in there, so I know that that's my position. Now what I've been doing, taking back out, put him into the door handle where he lives. You can start him, a little bit tricky to start him now. So you lose a little bit of feel. I think I've started him. Not be doing something, and in a minute you should bottom out. Maybe he's just tightening up there. So I know that it's not coming off, so it must be connected in the right place. So how then do I work out where the other two holes are? Well, I know that this door handle follows that line, so I can eyeball that and that line. And I can be very close when I put this screw up into the hole. It will be very close to where it's going to need to be, and if I press on it, I'll make a mark on the door card. And the other thing with this handle is, you see this line here, it actually runs along the bottom on mine. I don't know if it does that in everybody's, but very close to running along the bottom of there. Gives you a really nice position. And again, just I've got a nice sharp point on them. Have a little look around the back of there. Yeah, there's two lovely marks. So that's going to give me two marks that I can work with. Quickly take that off. You can see here we've got a mark and a mark, and these screws come in at this angle, which means that you're going to want to clear more out below the mark than you are above the mark, because the screw's got to come in and clear everything. So what I do is just go 5mm above and sort of 8 or 10mm below, and just chop out an area like that. And with these marks, you're almost certainly spot on in that plane. You could be out slightly in that plane, So I've given myself a bit of a margin for error in that plane, but it doesn't matter because, like we said before, it's all going to be gone. And then you've just got to be careful that you don't slip, because you're now cutting through onto the board. Before you were just cutting 2 pieces of material and some, you know, filler, some sponge or whatever you want to call this stuff, this white fluff. Now you're cutting into the board. Then what I've done before is just keep cutting into the board, work your way through the board. Just keep cutting out a triangle. You need a nice sharp knife. You need a bit of patience. I'm just taking out a piece, look. Do another piece. Nicely patient. Don't slip. Out some more. You could run a drill into there if you wanted to. If you run a drill in, what can happen is the drill will catch this stuff, spin it up, and it starts pulling all the stuff in out from around there. You end up with a flat spot. Also, if you're not careful, you'll drill into the white plastic piece, which is going to put your threads in for your screw and ruin it. And I'm not sure if they're still available, those parts, if you've got them, or how easy they are to replace, because you have to strip the whole door down again if you damage that, because you can't replace it without taking the card off and the membrane off, and so on and so on and so on. It's fiddly, it's a pain. It's fiddly and painstaking, but I believe that I can see it. I can, we'll see. That's it, feels to me like it's bit into something, but it's too square. These plastic things have a habit of allowing you to come in at a shallower angle. You still seem to be able to screw into them, but you need to be able to screw into it from that angle, which it seems like I can. That's why I went lower, because look how much. So I'm going to do this one now as well, same again. Think I've got him. Just see how that feels. Yep. So the moment of truth is, will they all screw in together? Where's my other screw gone? come back to you when I found my other screw. Right, welcome back guys. Got my other screw, it was already still in there, I couldn't find it. They're all already in. This can be fiddly and it's a bit better if you've got the right. Right, I'm going to suggest that you don't do what I've just done there, because that's just a recipe for damaging door card. So let's take them two out. Just have the one in at a time. This one's longer than the others, and I can't remember which one's the longer one. I'm not sure if it matters. We'll find out in a minute. They are all the same. Maybe this one. They are all the same diameter. So I just need to get a visual on exactly whereabouts it was, so I can get a good start. Right, don't do it up fully tight, because it will just give you a little bit of looseness and manoeuvrability, so you can line the other ones up easier. If you've got it all done up tight before you've got them all in, it's going to make your own life hard. In theory, you just line straight up, but theory and practice are usually not the same thing. He's definitely going up that little one. Any of these sorts of things, patience is the key. Once you've got them all, once you're confident they're all started, then you can start tightening them up. But until you're absolutely confident that they're all, you'll know if they're not in there because they'll actually pull the door card away. Unfortunately, these old door handles are not very sturdy things anyway, so even after you've got them tight, they wobble around like jelly. You've got to tighten them up reasonably tight, but there's no point going mad. Two reasons: one, it won't make the door handle any more secure, and two, you are screwing into plastic, so you will strip it eventually. There you have it, one completed door card. I don't know if I've shown anybody anything they didn't already know. I don't know if I've given anybody the confidence to have a go themselves. I'm not professing to be an expert, I'm just having a go. Put in something in the comments below, guys, if I've missed something or something I should have done to make the job better. That's not quite right, I'll have to have a look at that afterwards, but I'm not going to bore everybody on this video with that. Thank you very much, guys, and I hope it's been useful to somebody.